So the leaks for Boruto 2 Blue Vortex Chapter 36 have fully come out. And before we even start this video, you guys just need to be ready, because when I watched these leaks, I was absolutely scared. And what we do end up seeing in this chapter is the beginning of the end, because everything that is happening right now is basically the point of no return. But I'm not going to talk too much, let's just jump into the leaks. Because the first thing that we see is an Amato and Kawaki. We continue right where we left off, with Kawaki, who is asking Amato why exactly he ended up kidnapping Kashin Koji, and if it will interfere with the process of getting rid of the Senju. Amato tells him not to worry, that everything he's doing is for the sake of his daughter, as he wants the Senju to be defeated as quickly as possible. But the reason why he brings Kashin Koji here is because he wants to have a conversation with him concerning something important. And we end up seeing that Amato asks Kawaki about where Boruto is, where he tells him that Boruto is around but not close enough where anybody could detect his chakra signal, as his chakra signal is off. But him as an Otsutsuki, he can feel his presence, most likely due to the fact that he was talking with Sarada. And Amato is like, what they have to do is now, before Boruto really becomes aware of everything that is going on. But we do end up leaving. We end up leaving where we go to Kohu, who is having a discussion with the elders of the Leaf. During this discussion, we see Kohu that describes everything that happened. The fact that he felt like he lost a bit of his memory and somehow ended with a bunch of Senju, where we had Boruto who came to save him. But even though Boruto saves him, he believes that all of this was a lie intended to manipulate him. This is with the help of Shikamaru that orchestrated Boruto to presumably seem like a hero, so that Boruto would no longer be looked as evil. He ends up deeming that Shikamaru has been working with Boruto this entire time, and Boruto has lured the Senju to end up coming to the village. And all of this is happening as Shikamaru is basically rebelling against the village itself. This is the deduction of Kohu, and the elders are definitely going along with this. So what Kohu has done is given this piece of information to the daimyo himself, and he believes that Shikamaru is going to be dismissed very shortly, which means that we're going to be seeing a new Hokage very soon. And Shikamaru, I don't know what he's gonna do from now on. I doubt he's gonna be living as a bum, but your time has come. Shikamaru's time as Hokage is coming to an end. So basically in this chapter, we're seeing the last few works that he really is doing. We see a Shikamaru that has been notified by the sensory team about a chakra that resembles and matches exactly with Jiraiya's chakra signal that has entered the leaf. This is what we saw in the sneak peek. The fact that we have a Kashin Koji that was abducted by Amato. Also, I was working on another video discussing things that could end up happening, and a lot of the predictions that I discussed in that video ended up coming true in this chapter, so I'll also make sure to drop it after this video. But you guys definitely let me know the things I got wrong and the things I got right, because this is slowly the part where things start to get crazy. Because Amato ends up waking up, and we have an Amato that compliments him on surviving the fight versus Ishiki, because he didn't believe that was going to be possible. But Amato hopes that Kashin Koji is not going to hold a grudge against him, where Kashin Koji says that he is a ninja and he understood the circumstances going into it and doesn't care about anything, doesn't hold any grudges against Amato. And Amato ends up being curious about his senjutsu ability, the 10 paths, the prescience. Amato is curious about those abilities and is also explaining a bit of his theories. The fact that yes, this ability is cool and extremely important, however, there is a problem, there is a weakness. The fact that he only obtains updates every so often, and he says that the last update he received was a little bit before the Mumoshi battle, which was 4 days ago. And due to that problem, he couldn't even suspect that Amato was going to actually come and take him. So what Amato is expecting that is the weakness of the 10 paths is the blind spots that it creates due to the fact that you have to wait for an update. And Amato is saying that he can propose a solution to that problem. He ended up performing some sort of a surgery on Kashin Koji that basically allowed him to shorten the interval a little bit more so that Kashin Koji could get information faster and faster and stay out of trouble. He says that the operation was done using sound, so it didn't involve any sort of actual surgery that he had to do on Kashin Koji's brain, not at all. Everything that he has done is simply to make the interval between the updates very short. And then Amato asks him the most important question for him. He ends up pointing towards a clone of his daughter Akabi, where Amato asks Kashin Koji if he had seen a future where Kawaki ended up using the karma to bring Delta's daughter back into life. And Kashin Koji tells us and reveals something interesting about depressions. He tells us that he can declare with 100% certainty that he has never seen a single future where that has ever come to pull off, where we have a Kawaki that ends up giving Akabi the karma. And that's one of the reasons why we probably never saw Kashin Koji even worry about Amato like that, because none of Amato's plan ended up working. And the reason why it doesn't is because in every single future, Kawaki is killed by Jura. And that is what he ends up telling us. And Amato's like, thank you. I'm glad I was able to hear it directly from you. So I believe that it's going to change a bit of the way that Amato ends up working. But he also has to be very wary of Kashin Koji. So what I do believe is pretty likely is that he did something additional to Kashin Koji. But we'll come to discuss this a little bit later on, or maybe in a different video. But he says to Kashin Koji that he's looking forward to the next update that he will have, and Shikamaru had just made it to the door. We see a Boruto that appears in the hideouts, but Kashin Koji isn't there. In the next page, we finally end up seeing Kashin Koji that comes back, and what he wants to know is exactly what happened to his body. So he ends up going to Inogen. Inogen is connecting her to Ida, and he is about to figure out exactly what took place. But it is at that exact moment that he ends up having an update. He ends up having a random update, and the things that he ends up learning are absolutely terrifying. We end up seeing a flashback of the conversation that Boruto and Sarada has, where Sarada is wondering about what exactly is going to happen to her, exactly when Code is going to appear, looking around, maybe claw marks here, claw marks there, and Boruto is thinking back at this conversation. We finally see a claw mark with Code, and his eye is peeking out. It almost appears like Sarada noticed. But it's also at that moment that we end up seeing the futures that Kashin Koji is currently seeing. In those futures, we see multiple different things. We see Code multiple times, and we see a Boruto that maybe seems a little bit injured. Maybe he's having a weird little moment. That's something we have to come back to, right? Then we also go back to the next page, and then we see a Code that finally ends up appearing on Sarada. He is using his claw marks to push Sarada down as she is entering the claw marks. Now we end up going back to Kashin Koji, and now we see something even more interesting. Boruto finally seems to tap into True Essence Karma, or this is potentially Momoshiki who is controlling his body in one of the future scenes that we are currently seeing. There are multiple different updates. We see a Kobu smirking. We see the corner of a Hokage's cloak. We see Konohamaru looking intense. And we see Jiro who is cooking alongside Shikamaru, who's doing something that I really don't know. We see Kidari. We see Sarada. Something is going on. We see Kawaki, who also appears to have horns in this Kawashiki mode. So all of it is looking really intense. And we have a Boruto and we have a Kashin Koji that literally tells Boruto to calm down and listen to what he has to say. But the decoy plan with Sarada is going to fail. And we end up going to Code, who actually pulls off a big brain move. He feels like he can sense Boruto's chakra and ends up using his weird weapon-like ability from his arm to take these things out. And he says that whatever Boruto is trying to do is not going to work. Boruto is panicking. Boruto doesn't even listen to what Kashin Koji has to say, as Kashin Koji is literally telling Boruto wait and not go, but Boruto doesn't. He instantly uses his flying Raijin, tries to go where Code is at, but it is already too late. Code has taken Sarada, and Boruto has literally no way of going into the Senji dimension. Everything is going wrong in this arc, and this is absolutely scary because a few of these things I did end up making a video on. I thought the spoilers were gonna come out tomorrow. I didn't think they were gonna come out today, but I'll still post a video a little bit hour, maybe 8 hours. I'm gonna post this exactly when I finish this. It's a little bit late in the night. I'll probably post this earlier on in the morning, but I did not expect this at all. What we're seeing right here is absolutely crazy. I already knew the plan wasn't gonna work, but I didn't think it would be that bad. You guys let me know the takes that you guys had before, but what we're currently seeing is definitely the beginning of the end. But I'm sorry to say this, there is some bad news. Boruto is going to be on a hiatus for 1 month. Ikimoto usually does take a break at least once a year. At least once a year in the past, it has been the case where he did that, and now it seems like he changed the schedule to maybe, because Ikimoto didn't take a break for quite some time, so maybe he changed the schedule to 3, like once every 3 years, once every 2 years, but it's usually around the summertime. Sometimes he ends up going to Disneyland, but with the chapter that he has just cooked up, I think we have a lot of material to cover for the next few months that end up appearing, so we're definitely going to be making a lot of videos discussing all of that. But you guys definitely have to let me know what you guys think. There's just so much to discuss. Let me know the first few things that you guys want me to make videos on, and let me know what caught your attention in this chapter. What is happening? Too many things are happening at once. I'll post another video in the next 8 hours. You guys let me know. Those are my predictions of what could come true, but there's definitely things that would have to be changed on that video. But based off the information I had, those were my personal takes. But you guys let me know your thoughts, comments, and concerns. It's been your boy Dynasty, and I'm out, bruh.